Okay, and we are live. How's it going, Mets and overall baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Wardy, and we're back at with our latest post-game segment here, post-game show rather. We haven't done one in a couple days, mainly because aside from, of course, the Mets' Game 1 win in this 3-game set against the Pittsburgh Pirates, there hasn't been much positivity to discuss. As many of you know, I was out of town over this past weekend, so I didn't get a chance to cover those coveted games live, that being the 21-3 Mets loss, the 6-0 loss to the Braves, and then ultimately when the Mets won the series finale in that 4-game set by a final score of 7-6. Did do a reactionary video though that came out on how the Mets hit a new low, and mainly because of how lifeless they looked. Regardless on the status of the club, the amount of lifeless at-bats that we've seen this team take, especially post-trade deadline, has definitely been frustrating to say the least for people that still want to try to enjoy Mets baseball on a daily basis. And now they trot in to this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. In 2 out of 3 games, they got the job done. They got the offense going. Yesterday, pitching was horrendous. The Mets hit a season high 10 walks allowed, but the Pirates didn't do themselves any favors either by walking everyone and their mother in this entire series too, as the Mets led by DJ Stewart with 2 home runs, 3 home runs in the past 24 hours for DJ Stewart. What a nice surprise he has been in this series, as the Mets again take 2 out of 3, take this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates that we're going to recap now from today's game, my thoughts on the series overall, and thoughts on the Mets' current club status while answering your questions by a final score today, 8-3. Appreciate everyone watching live and a replay. Happy to have you guys in here. Like I said, post-game shows will not be after every single game like they have been for the vast majority of the season. Was the case basically all last year too. However, we will be doing a couple post-game shows each week, especially based on who they're playing, the type of matchup, and of course my stats and what I'm doing. I will be here and covering them for you all, but we're also going to have plenty of individual video content that we've been doing a little bit more of as of late over our past couple of videos that aren't live streams, so make sure to check those out. One on a report regarding Yoshinobu Yamamoto and his potential landing in Queens, and the most recent video really just a reactionary type discussion on the Mets' abysmal Braves series and how, yes, the Braves are an amazing team, but the Mets just showed absolutely no life until, you know, of course, that final game in which they got 6 runs in 1 inning because Yanni Chirinos didn't know how to handle the strike zone. But a lot to get into, a lot that I wanted to discuss. Happy to be back as always with these live shows. Shout out everyone first chiming in. Might actually have a highlight reel today. I know, you know, finally things are going in the Mets' favor, at least slightly, when you can see me showing highlights and not having a graphic that says no highlights today. This team's an utter embarrassment. There's nothing to show. But I appreciate Michael Stroh, Yoshima, everyone chiming in, my great members, my loyal viewers watching live in a replay. Happy to have you guys in here. And yeah, just happy to get back into the little groove of breaking down Mets games, getting the Mets content. I'll be covering today's game, as you guys see. I will likely be covering tomorrow's game. We'll be having individual videos that we will be getting into a little bit more. So make sure that you guys are chiming in to the content. As always, I will be out of town this weekend, so we'll likely not be covering live the entire Cardinals series. I usually don't cover each game live on the weekends, especially with the current status of the club too, but I do have a wedding to attend, so that will be the reason for a little bit of busyness over the weekend. But no less, going to get into some content for you guys. Happy to discuss it. Jacob, my man, how are you? Hope school went great for you this year, and hope you're enjoying your summer now as you're getting ready now for your next school year, which is crazy. I just bananas, the whole school thing. I haven't been in school in so long. But professional certified hater, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Before we get into this one, as you guys make sure to smash that like and subscribe on, as we're breaking down the latest game in Metsland as they take game 3 out of a 3-game set against, yes, the Pittsburgh Pirates, win this series 2 out of 3 by a final score of 8-3. George Pickens is much more talented than Justin Jefferson. Ryan Clark, I know this is a Mets channel, but what is bro talking about? I did see that clip. Fun fact, I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Ryan Clark fan. I do not agree with that statement, obviously. I love me some George Pickens. That Pickett to Pickens connection is going to be a lot of fun that I'm excited to see before my eyes this season for all you Steelers fans out there. I know we got a lot of Jets fans, Giants fans, Pats fans, whoever you're a fan of that is a fan of football watching this. But having said that all, yeah, I don't know what Ryan was smoking, just another kind of little bit of a clickbaity comment to make, especially something that commonly happens on the program that, of course, is from ESPN. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that is fine. Appreciate the donation, though, certified here. Hopefully one day Pickens is at Justin Jefferson level, but not yet. not yet. Not yet. But I do love me some George Pickens and of course Kenny Pickett. Really do enjoy that duo thoroughly as a Steelers fan, and seeing this team kind of start to blossom now with their young core group, since Ben, of course, has retired. Dude, Mets will be rebuilding. When Ohtani wastes his time rebuilding, when he can, Mets are not going to be rebuilding next year. They're going to be competitive. I promise you that one. And two, Ohtani is going to go wherever he wants. I think he's likely going to go to the Dodgers, or the Giants. I think he's going to stay in Cali. But money does talk at the end of the day. And Steve Cohen, that's the one thing that he can control better than pretty much any other owner in baseball. But let's talk about this ball game now. I really want to get into it. Shout out to my great sponsor, that being Mojo Sportsbook. A little bit on them later in the show, as many of you guys know. And thank you guys all so much again for being great supporters of all of our awesome sponsors on the channel. Also, eyeing tomorrow, if not early next week, a little late on this, but I will be doing the final Mets jersey giveaway with our great friends at Sower MLB. They've been an awesome sponsor of mine throughout the regular season, and before things come to close, really, for, as we're getting closer and closer to the season being over and so rare, I did want to get one last jersey giveaway out there with you all. And of course, by you guys entering was by joining through Wardy's Unique League. The entering process stopped in August, so I'll be picking one random winner that joined Wardy's So Rare League to win a random Mets jersey of whatever player they want currently on the active roster. So if you want a Jonathan Arauz jersey, for example, you can certainly get that. But let's get into it now. Again, happy to have you guys in here. Finish watching Richie. If you're talking about Richie at Jets Media, that's awesome, Paula. Love Richie. He does a great job. If you're a Jets fan too, please make sure to check out Jets Media. My good buddy Richie Malora is one of the best Jets content creators out there. He's been covering everything with the Jets to an absolute T. The guy has been in attendance at practices to the point where he's even in the background that you see there for fans for the Jets Hard Knocks TV series currently going on. But I digress. Let's get into breaking down this ball game a little bit now, because you had Tyler McGill on the bump today for the Mets. And what did he do for the Mets? What did the Mets pitching-wise do today? You got solid production. Tyler McGill gives you 5 innings of 2 earned run ball, 5.53 ERA on the year. Of course, Big Drip has struggled with his arsenal all year long. And we're going back to spring training, and the guy couldn't command his breaking ball very well. I mean, he has definitely struggled with the walk rate quite a bit this season. He's going to be an interesting guy to follow as we head into the offseason. How do the Mets evaluate him? How do they view him? Is he a guy that they could maybe view as a long reliever? Is he going to be competing at all for a rotation spot next year? Is that the right or wrong move? Or is he going to be dealt? Things of that nature is definitely a discussion we're going to have when the time is right this offseason. And then Bickford comes in, of course, allows that one run that we'll get into shortly. Brooks Raley's been a stud all year. Love that move from the beginning when Epler did it this past offseason with the Tampa Bay Rays. And Raley's a guy I would definitely like to see back in this Mets pen if they can make it happen, should he have interest. Trevor Gott, who has settled down quite a bit since that really rocky start to his Mets tenure after being dealt from the Mariners. And then Ottavino gets the job done there. And the Ottavino has had some really nice, his past 3 outings have been really sharp, which is what you like to see for Adam, who does have another year on his contract with the Mets and currently sits at a 3.31 ERA. But now getting into things anybody in here, let's just start off with this. And also, actually, one more update I want to share with you guys. For all that don't know, Edwin Diaz, the Mets star closer, hoping to return before the season's conclusion, did throw off a mound in the bullpen today. So that's huge update. That's huge news that Edwin Diaz is inching closer and closer to making his long-awaited, highly anticipated Mets season debut. The likelihood of that happening before the season is becoming greater by the day. Edwin is looking great. He's feeling great. I'm really curious to see where his velo is going to sit as command. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of rust when he does make his return. But the good thing, especially should Edwin return this season, which I think is imperative as long as he's fully healthy, is there's no pressure on his shoulders, right? It's not like he's jumping in to trying to be an impactful player for a Mets team that's currently in the playoff race. Like, that is likely not going to be the case with how this team currently stands. No one should really expect otherwise. So Edwin kind of coming in, with the season expectations already down. They're over with. Mets are just kind of in cruise control until the season is officially over. I can come in the final couple weeks of the season, whatever it may be, get some outings in, just see how he's feeling, and kind of build off that and hopefully have a fully healthy, exciting, and dominant, in which we know Edwin to be very well in the 2024 season. But SR, thank you for a donation. Back pitching off the bump. Big news. Absolutely. SR literally just said that. Thank you so much for the dono. As always, really does mean a lot. Got so mad at the Mets. Fire all my... you burn all your Mets stuff. I mean, that's a stupid thing to do, William. That's just wasting money. Let's just give DJ that 2-year, $100 million extension. I mean, why haven't we yet is a real question. But getting into the first inning now of this ball game, Tyler McGill does give up a hit. However, 2 strikeouts later, and it's a nice play by Pete Alonso there at first, who made not one but 2 really nice diving stops at first to end the inning. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that first of the day, I could be wrong. Well, actually, no, it was here in the second, was former Mets prospect, now top prospect that's blossoming now with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Endy Rodriguez. For those who don't know who Endy Rodriguez is, Endy was a catching prospect that the Mets trade away in a 3-way trade that landed them Joey Fuego, Joey Lucchesi, Mr. Churv, and Endy at the time was not a top prospect by a stretch for the Mets, however, rose greatly in the minors with the Pittsburgh Pirates and has already been called up this year, along with Henry Davis. I mean, they have 2 star-studded, young, potential huge upside players at the backstop position in both Endy Rodriguez and Henry Davis. Henry can be toyed in the outfield in the corners, in which he has been this year. But yeah, there's a lot of potential there for both of them. So Endy gets his first hit of the series against his former club, the club that initially brought him really into baseball, if you will. Afterwards, Paguro would a walk. Thankfully, things would end on a double play. Pardon me, guys. Where do you think Edwin will make his first rehab outing? That's a good question, and honestly, I don't have an answer to it. I haven't put that much thought into where. No, I don't really think that. I mean, it doesn't. I could definitely see them starting him out probably in like they're going to probably start him out in Port St. Lucie. So like they're going to have to build him up the same way that like Jose Quintana was built up, where you start a little in single A and you move all the way up to triple A and then you're called up. So it's going to be a process to bring Edwin back, but rest assured there's definitely potential for him to still make his season debut before the season's conclusion rather. But Pirates do not score there in the second. As we get to the bottom of the second, however, DJ Stewart with a home run, his second home run over the past 24 hours, hit a pinch hit bomb yesterday in the Mets 7-4 loss in Game 2 that series to the Pirates, hits one again today, and he will not be done by any stretch. Right after that, of course, as the Mets take an early 1-0 lead, the Mets would tack on more thanks to Omar Narvaez's double. Rafael Ortega, who has looked very, very solid in the Mets uniform since being called up, wearing Michael Conforto's number 30. A balk would advance both runners, and then Brandon Nimmo would walk, and Francisco Lindor drives a couple in with an opposite field RBI 2-run single that makes it a 3-0 Mets lead there through 2 innings. In the third, we see Hayes. Pardon me. Why am I blanking? Is it Brian Hayes? Right? Dun. Yeah. Wait, Ke'Bryan Hayes. Thank you. I knew I was off. Ke'Bryan Hayes with a double, and then he is driven in from one of the best outfielders, one of the best young outfielders in baseball, and Brian Reynolds with a 2-run opposite field bomb, which makes it a 1-run ball game. It's 3-2 still in the Mets' favor there that we see through 3 innings. In the fourth, then, Rafael Ortega with a double. Great day at the plate for Ortega that I'm going to get into a little bit more shortly. Nimmo would drive him in with an opposite field RBI single, and the Mets take on a 4-2 lead through the first 4 innings. Then Jeff McNeil throws out McCutchen trying to score from second base. There in the fifth, a beautiful relay throw from DJ Stewart to Jeff to home, gets it to Omar Narvaez, gets the tag down, and McGill would get out of that 5th inning unscathed, and that leads to his final line of 5 innings of 2 earned run ball, 5 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. So the command, still an issue, still struggling there. McGill, of course, is only in this rotation because of the departures of Max Scherzer, who just had a dominant outing the other day for the Texas Rangers. Good for him. And then Justin Verlander, who's doing very well in his own right with the Astros. Now, of course, those rotation spots open, and that is why we're seeing those guys there. Darren, my man, how are you? The best Mets fan you'll ever meet from the UK. Happy to have you in here. What's up, Mets fans? What's up, mate? Solid Series W. Yep, we'll gladly take it. I don't mind seeing this Mets team lose, but however, if they're going to lose, I hope they show some fight in these games, right? I'm all for getting that top draft pick now, that number 6 pick, if possible. Just keep free falling. I don't mind that. Of course, I mind it watching Mets on the daily, but I don't mind it as long as they're not lifeless, where they're actually still showing an effort. And I give them credit. They did show more of an effort they had more of a flair to their game offensively, especially in the series, than what they were against the Braves, which was just nothing short of pathetic. But again, coloring me surprised, right? Let's see. Don't forget Epler's masterclass in giving up a Colin Holderman for a Meal Team 6 member, Daniel Vogelbach, another horrible trade. Yeah, that trade was bad. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Epler's not been perfect by any stretch, and he's not anything close to a perfect GM. I have not liked a lot of his moves. However, what I have liked about Epler a lot lately was how he handled the trade deadline. I think he did a fantastic job in getting the prospect return that he got. I also think that when it comes to the contracts that he signed for the Mets over the past couple years, he really hasn't done anything wrong. The only argument you could say is, okay, the Mets took that risk with JV and with Max, and the risk outweighed the reward at the end of the day. And you really can't put blame on Epler there, because Epler was just listening to the boss man, and the boss man had a plenty say in making those decisions, and justifiably so at the times, given where those players were at in their careers, how they were evaluated on the market, and what the Mets were trying to replace in said rotation after losing DeGrom and other pieces, Taiwan Walker, Chris Bassett, etc. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of criticisms to be had on Epler, in part with how the season has gone, especially the bullpen to an extent. However, I will give credit where credit's due. I do not think he's a worse GM by any stretch, and I really think that he did a fantastic job with what he was working with to get the best possible return, or close to the best possible return, and really completely change the outlook of this farm system overnight. Really, really great job on that part, and I will give him credit for that, for sure. However, plenty of moves I have not liked with Epler, and the bullpen is the main thing. The guy has struggled to orchestrate a proper bullpen, especially after handling the loss of Edwin Diaz, among others. David Robertson was a great pickup, though. We'll give him credit there for that, too, because that was a nice one. But getting back into breaking down the game inning by inning, let's fast forward a little bit here. So we get to the bottom of the fifth. Alonso with a walk. And then DJ Stewart says, how you doing? See you later. Sayonara, you out of here. It's his second home run of the day. This time a 2-run shot for DJ Stewart. And DJ, with 3 home runs over the past 24 hours. Have yourself a day, DJ Stewart, or more like Barry Bonds is what I'm seeing there with that swing. And even in his second to last at bat, or his final at bat, he hit a really, really nice barreled ball, went to fairly deep center, just had the swing, looked locked in. He's feeling himself right now, and good for DJ. If you're in the lineup, I want to see you perform, and that's exactly what DJ Stewart has done over the past 24 hours. And the more impressive thing about that bomb that DJ hit was it was only the second home run in his career they hit off of a left-handed pitcher. That was off of, was it Ryan Barucki, if I'm not mistaken, for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who has had a very solid year out of the bullpen, all things considered, for Pittsburgh. But we then advance to the 6th inning. The Mets have a multi-run lead at this point. Bickford comes in with 2 outs. Williams gets an RBI bloop single. That would drive in a run. It's still a Mets lead here. And then in the bottom of 6, Rafael Ortega with an opposite field single. Ortega with another really, really good day when I'm looking at the numbers here just for a minute. 2 for 3 for Ortega today. I mean, really, really good. He might have not gone the opposite field single. They might have called it an error there. The 6th, regardless, very good day at the plate for Ortega, who is batting .267 with a .651 OPS since being called up by the Mets this season. Alonso with a bomb, a liner of a 36 home run, and now is 10th all-time in Mets history in RBIs with 469. Nice, passing the legend himself in Keith Hernandez. Alonso, with his 36th home run of the year, is awfully close now. I think he's 11 RBIs away from 100 on the season for Big Meat Pete, Polar Bear Pete, however you want to call him. McNeil with a walk afterwards. Narvaez reaches on an error, and Ortega drives in another run to make it 8-3 Mets lead with an RBI single. Arauz with a walk, but that will be all she wrote there. So nice production there from Alonso, from Ortega especially. Raley with a 1-2-3 7th there as well. Then as we got to the 8th, Trevor Gott with a 1-2-3 8th. And then aside from allowing one runner to get on base, Adam Ottavino takes care of business without a problem there in the 9th. And that is how the Mets win by a final score of 8-3. Dave Kaplitz, my man, how are you? Happy to have you in here. Hope you're doing great. Great friend of mine. I hope you're doing well, Dave. Always happy to see you in the chat. Appreciate everyone watching live in our replay, guys, as we're breaking down the latest game in Metsland that thankfully for once wasn't a complete shit show, as they win this one by a final score of 8-3. Let's see, SR with the $5 holla. SR says, Mets go after younger starters instead of prospects of the old-timers team. Younger starters instead of... Wait. Let me read that, because that was I was blanking. I'm trying to comprehend what that said. Mets go after younger starters instead of prospects for the old-timers team? Are you talking about this team as a joke, or are you talking about Old Timers team meaning Old Timers Day? I'm not sure what you're referencing there, but I do know that in regards to this team as a whole, yes, this offseason the Mets are far more likely to be going after starters that aren't at the age of 40. You know, they made that abundantly clear with parting ways with JV and Max the way that they did. That's why they're certainly appealed to a really, really high degree. And then Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's a young phenom from the MPB, expected to be posted this year and could be paired with a Kodai Senga, for example, for the 2024 rotation. Let's see here. Patrick, my man, thank you so much for the captain membership. Love you, brother. Everyone, make sure to subscribe to Unhinged Patrick on YouTube. He's a Yankees fan, so yes, he's a schmuck, but he's my schmuck. He does a great job doing similar coverage of what we do here, and also is a fantastic podcast, the Yankees Avenue podcast on Yankees Avenue with Dan, that many of you guys know in the Yankees community on their channel weekly. Pat and I might have some fun stuff coming this offseason, to say the least. I think a lot of you guys are certainly going to be interested and appealed with. So make sure you're chiming in. Shout out to my boy Pat. Hope you're doing well, brother. Happy to have you in here. And you are the captain now, just because of the membership. I will give you that. Dre, how's it going? Appreciate you chiming in as well. Can Alonso be the captain next year? I do not foresee that happening. If the Mets extend him, maybe. But that's still a big what if. I think Nimmo is kind of leading the charge in the captain, right, along with Lindor and then Alonso. They're all in that group. I will say, though, that when it comes to pure leadership and at least how he speaks with media, no one does it better than Lindor. Lindor's ability to address media properly and really hold himself accountable, but really be excited and focused on the team now and for the future post-trade deadline has been great. He just exemplifies everything you look for in a leader on a club, both on and off the field. So Lindor certainly has those qualities, but Nimmo is also the longest tenured Met currently in the club and has been rumored to be like an unofficial captain for a couple of years now because Mets brass really love him, and for good reason. Let's see. Patrick says, you get the feeling Vogelback had a couple of drinks with Cohen, and he was like, he's going to stay no matter what. No, I don't get that feeling at all, actually, if I'm being quite frank. And wouldn't shock me the slice if Vogelback is traded this offseason. Should Beatty and Vientos be sold next August if they underperform next year? It's a tricky situation to sell on prospects after, if say they both struggle hypothetically at next year's trade deadline. I think we're thinking way too far ahead in something like that. But also you're trading low on guys with the potential upside that both Beatty and Vientos still have. And I do think that we're going to see them blossom quite a bit more next year, should they be given consistent reps and opportunity. That's a key thing, and that might be at the cost of Buck Showalter's tenure in Queens too, if the Mets are really trying to have a little bit more of a younger focus while being vibrant and still trying to be highly competitive the way that Steve Cohen hopes for. Beatty, speaking of the devil, he had himself a grand slam yesterday off of former Met, everyone's favorite Met from the 2021 season, in Jared Eichhoff in AAA yesterday. Beatty's batting .300 with 3 or 4 home runs already, 10 RBI since being sent down to AAA. Yeah, I mean, the kid rakes in AAA. We know how good he is. He just needs to lift the ball more, get out of his own little mental struggles that he's been in at the MLB level, where he's overthinking everything. I truly do believe that Beatty's bat-to-ball skills and overall ability as a player is going to have him as a Mets starting everyday third baseman for a number of years, and he just needs to get better at lifting the ball, not overthinking too much, in which he certainly has the past couple months in the bigs. But he's that guy that's simply too good to be in the minor leagues, but mentally needed that break because of this current struggles he was having at the major league level at such a young age, at the age of like 22 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Grant, appreciate the donation. Free me. Yeah, free Jenny Mets. If you know, you know. I hope everything gets fixed on that front and fast, Grant. Appreciate the donation, brother. Happy to have you in here. Everyone make sure to follow Grant Perna on Twitter if you haven't already. Vientos will be part of a winter package, in my opinion. It's possible. It's so low in value. That's the only thing. You're just banking on nothing but upside, and of course that's what teams do when they evaluate and they make trades. But at the same time, he has a little value at the moment. I would suggest, and I wouldn't want to trade Vientos just for tossing him in a deal unless you're tossing him in a deal as a sweetener to really, really get something nice back, which of course is possible. I meant guys ready to join the old timers team, as in Grandpa's pitching. That's what I figured, SR. Gotcha. Who do you think the 2024 pitching rotation could be like? I mean, I think assuming he doesn't get dealt, he could though. Jose Quintana is an interesting one. I think the Mets might trade Quintana this offseason. I really do. But if they don't, Quintana, Senga, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think they're going to really push heavy at. And then from there, you got quite a bit of wild cards. I can't really comment more than that at the moment. Yamamoto, I just truly hope happens, and I know the Mets have a great connection with him. I also know that, he's had ties to the Red Sox because I'm pretty sure that he was teammates with Masataka Yoshida during their time in the MPB with the Buffaloes. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. But yeah, just something to follow for sure. Because, of course, the Red Sox and Heimblum would love, they're going to sign a pitcher long term. They would want to do with a guy turning 25. His birthday's tomorrow, by the way, and just getting his MLB career started. Could be dominant for the next 10, 15 years even. You just never know. So it'll be interesting to follow. Oh, guys, before we advance more in the show, I did want to get into this briefly, and that is what many of you guys know, which is, of course, my great friends at Mojo Sportsbook, because we of course did we've been doing a lot of awesome giveaways on the channel with other awesome sponsors, but we will be doing the same with Mojo very soon. So if you're not locked in on Mojo now, you gotta be, because for those that don't know about Mojo Sportsbook, guys, this is based in New Jersey. So if you're a Mets fan, one, and you're a New Jersey resident, two, and you like to partake in either sports betting or investing on actual players like a true stock market, then this is the app for you. This is the live betting stock market that's operating out of New Jersey. And every bet on Mojo offers live trading, so you can get in and get out all game long. It's stock trading meets sports betting with money lines, player props, and a whole new career-long path they've created. So what makes this app so unique is outside of the typical money lines, the spreads, the K-props, all these different types of things that you do in normal sports betting, you can invest in real players. You can invest real money in Francisco Alvarez right now. You can invest real money in Pete Alonso right now. You can invest real money in Shohei Ohtani right now, just like in a normal stock format as you would do in the Robinhood app or any other app where you're normally investing, doing day trading, or you want to hold on to your stock for a bit. So you can buy low on players, you can buy high, you can get very creative in how you go about orchestrating this. But the point is that this is the only app out there that truly allows you to invest on a player and have confidence in what they're going to bring to you, and of course have a good ROI or return on investment, right? So love that about this app. And the best part of it all on top of that is that you're in total control of your bets. Cash in when you're up or cash out if it's going bad. Mojo's cash outs are far more available than any other sports book. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now, go to Mojo, click in the link in the description in the live show, and use my promo code WardyNYM, that's WARDYNYM, for a 20% deposit match up to $100. Again, that is promo code WardyNYM, WARDYNYM, for a 20% deposit match up to $100. And shout out Mojo Sportsbook, as always, for being a great sponsor on the channel. And shout out all of you who have went out of your way to check out Mojo, sign up, invest in players, or do your normal money lines, whatever type of usual daily picks that you like to do in sports betting. Thank you guys all for the support there. It really does mean a lot. AB, how's it going, brother? Appreciate you chiming into the Discord. Also, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you're chiming into the WardyNYM Discord server. We have 300 to 400 live members as we speak. You can talk daily, every single day with myself and awesome Mets fans in the community. It's just a chat room to talk. When I do live callers later this year, as we get in the offseason especially, I will be taking in live callers from that format because it's very easy to do so. So easy way to call in when we do callers. I'll be giving you guys updates and content before it comes out. Just a great community where I can text you guys without having to be in the YouTube format, where I'm relying on the comments in the live chat to talk to you. You guys can be commenting all day, all year long. Doesn't matter the time of day either. You could comment at 3 in the morning, and when I wake up and I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll respond to that. That was good. That's a good question. Or just talking about the Mets as a whole. You can share memes. We could do whatever we want in this community. We've already had hundreds of people join since we started over the past couple of weeks. And I want to make sure you guys get in on the action as well to join this amazing Mets community here on WardyNYM in a more intimate way than what you're currently seeing on YouTube, for example, where we're limited in our interactions and how much we can interact with each other because it's dependent on my content and when the content comes out, the timing, what it is, and all that kind of stuff. So click the link in the description or click the link pinned in the live chat to join the WardyNYM Discord server now. And thank you again for doing that too. The Discord link is there. It's in the live chat and is in the description of the live show. But guys, before we get to wrapping things up, because I'm going to wrap things up in a minute or two, I just want to say thank you again to everyone that has been awesome supporters of mine all year long. I cannot thank you enough, especially in what has been such a season filled with turmoil, filled with disgust, filled with just emotion in a negative way covering this baseball club. You guys always make it worthwhile at the end of the day. I'm beyond excited to get into content for you guys that'll be centered around the offseason 2024, because that's truly all that matters at this point, along with prospect discussions. I really want to get into that farm discussion quite a bit too. So again, I appreciate everyone so much who has been awesome followers of mine, either new followers this year, reoccurring followers. We've been doing this thing for 3 years now, and boy oh boy, when I say we are still just getting started, a lot is on the horizon. New segments, new shows are coming this off season that we're currently in the early works on. So I'm just excited to unravel all this content for you all and try to make this the best possible platform I can, while also being the most, friendly, if that makes sense. We're a community here, right? You guys have just as much impact on the channel as I do making the content, because you guys are the ones viewing, you guys are the ones sharing opinions, suggestions, you guys are the ones that are going out of your way to meet me at games. We do outings, stuff like that. Like, all these things go such a long way, and it's all because of you. So seriously, thank you guys again. Mets, of course, win this series by a final score of 8-3, take 2 games out of 3, and now they look for another series win, this time against a team in the St. Louis Cardinals. So Mets will be going to St. Louis, see how they do this weekend. Until then, though, thank you guys for the support. Love you all to death. And as always, let's go Mets, baby.